You can see our next guest on The Young and the Restless. He stars as Damian Kane, a successful businessman and Nate Hastings' half-brother.
Look, if you're like my grandma, my mama, you don't play about your stories, right? Joining us this morning is actor Jermaine Rivers. It is so great to have you with us, Jermaine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, we talk about The Young and the Restless.
Yeah.
This show debuted in 1973. You were added to the cast earlier this year. What is it like for you being a part of such an iconic show?
It is, first of all, it's very surreal because I grew up watching The Young and the Restless, you know, with my mom, and it's one of those household soap operas where everything stops when that show comes on.
That's right.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? If you come in and you're a kid, you sit down and you watch the show. So just being a part of such an iconic show that's been around for 52 years, 52 seasons, it's a blessing.
That is great. Your mother actually knew what role you were going to get before you even told. Like, didn't she?
She did.
What did she say to you?
She was like, are you going to be the son? I'm like, technically, I can't tell you, because she watches the show.
Right.
Yeah. You know, religiously, and have kept up with the whole storyline. So she knew. Just when I dropped the little hand, I was like, I can't tell you. And she, are you going to be the son?
Well, what did she say to you when you found out that you had been cast? Because if she is a huge fan of the show, like so many people, I can only imagine what her reaction was.
Oh my God, we had a long conversation, and we prayed, and we kind of cried a little bit. Yeah. Because it's one of those things where you just don't know it's possible until it happens. You know, the opportunity came, I was prepared, I seized the moment, and I got the job. And we just couldn't be more happier.
Well, you've been around for a minute.
Yeah.
You know, the thing of it is, this is a big role for you, but the bottom line is you've worked with some big name actors, Richard Dreyfuss. I mean, you've done your thing.
Yeah, it's been a steady grind. You know,
Yeah.
I like to say it's a game of inches. You know, in this career, you know, it's you taking the stairs, not the elevator. So it's just been consistently working. It's been a blessing to work with some really talented people over the years. And I got to work with Eric Braeden on, on Den of Thieves. And he was so gracious while we were filming. In between scenes, we would sit down and talk. And I asked him, and I think during that time the show just hit around 40, 45 years. And I just asked him, did you know, how did you know, that you would be a part of this iconic cast? And that the show will be what it is, beloved around the world. Right. And he said you did, and it's like catching lightning in a bottle. Wow. But getting to work with him now is
pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Well, take us back some years, because you weren't always on the big screen. You're doing that now, but you actually served in the military, in the Army. Thank you for your service. How did you make that transition? Because not every day you probably hear of somebody who served in the military and then finding themselves transitioning into acting. Yeah,
first, it was an honor to serve. So, the opportunity presented itself. And during my years of service, I've had numerous opportunities to learn and grow and develop as a person. And I use all of those experiences to help define me as an actor, because I could play to a litany of circumstances, and I can play it truthfully. So I accredit my time in the military, my service in the military, with some of the most brightest, smartest, toughest people, for helping me be the actor that I am, to be successful.
Because it can be a grind on the set too. And you actually credit one of my favorite movies, which I think is one of the top 5 movies ever, The Godfather, for getting you inspired to be an actor in the first place.
Yeah, when you watch these movies, and you watch great performances, it can't help but to inspire you. And say, that is where I want to be, or that's the level of work that I want to do. And, you aim for the stars and you'll hit the moon. So having that as one of those movies that I will always go back to, just to watch the performance, watch the choices that the actors make, and then you try to replicate that process.
Well, we're so excited to have you on The Young and the Restless.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
You bet. Thanks for being here.
Absolutely, Jermaine Rivers right there. The Young and the Restless airs right here on Atlanta News First, weekdays, right after Atlanta News First at noon. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.